Hey YouTube, I'm back with another mechanical pencil review, and today I'm going to be reviewing a pencil that really surprised me, and surprised me in a good way. And this was a recommendation from a viewer of the channel. I had posted a comment on one of my videos about the Tombow Mono Graph Zero, and I'll be the first to admit that I was skeptical at first because of my experiences with a prior Tombow monograph pencil, and that is the Tombow Mono Graph Shaker. And so on the right we have the Tombow Mono Graph Shaker. On the left we have the Tombow Mono Graph Zero. Incidentally, this is the packaging that the Tombow Mono Graph Zero, the new one, came in. This is classic high quality Japanese mechanical pencil packaging. We don't get nice packaging like this in the United States for mechanical pencils, I'm sad to say, but came in this package. And so what I want to do here is take you through some of the pros and cons of each of these two pencils. They're both manufactured by Tombow, and I would consider Tombow to be like sort of a high middle of the range mechanical pencil company. Examples of pencils that Tombow makes, other than the two that you see in front of you, probably the most famous would be the Tombow Zoom 505, and I believe it's 505SH. And so Tombow Zoom is probably one that you may have seen if you've ever perused jet pens. But other than that, Tombow pencils are a little difficult to get in the United States. And so whenever we get a situation where where I can see a Tombow pencil and actually try it out, that's going to be the best. But that situation is pretty difficult for me to encounter. And so what I have here, I took a chance basically, and it really wasn't an expensive chance, as I'll talk about in a little bit, but that's part of what makes this so great. This is an inexpensive pencil that has a lot of pros and cons. Now, before I dive into the Tombow Mono Graph Zero, the one on your left right here, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the Tombow Mono Graph, because the Tombow Mono Graph is a pencil that is readily available from online sellers such as Tokyo Pen Shop or Jet Pens here in the United States. And what really struck me about the Tombow Mono Graph Zero is that it's so close to being a great pencil, but with one feature that really just kills it for me. And I've spoken about this on my video for the Tombow Mono Graph before, and it is this pocket clip. It is utter trash. Okay, it's just so flimsy. I mean, if I put any pressure on this, the thing would just snap. If I attempted to attach this to a piece of paper and expect it to be secure, odds are that it's just going to break. Now, the Tombow Mono Graph does have some nice features in that it has a lock. So you move the pocket clip up. You know what? I'm going to be very quiet for a second to see if you can hear it. Okay, there's a little click there that allows you to lock the lead in place. And the reason why you would want that feature is because this is a shaker pencil. So when you give it a shake, the lead extends. Okay, so by having that lock, you can make sure that your lead locks into place. And another great feature of it is this really large twist-up eraser, which is always a nice feature to have on a pencil. And the clutch in the Tombow Mono Graph is brass, and so it's a high-quality clutch. I'm not crazy about the lead advancement on this pencil. You click down on the pocket clip, and it feels a little spongy and imprecise to me. And so even though it has a brass clutch, I am not crazy about the mechanism on the monograph shaker mechanical pencil. And so you may be wondering, well, why the heck invest in the Monograph Zero? And that was a big question that I had for myself. But I like to trust viewers whenever possible, whenever they make suggestions. And I took a chance on this one. It was great. Now, I just want to point out here, the reason why it's called the Tombow Mono Graph Zero is because the zero is referring to one of these smaller erasers that Tombow makes. This is a click mechanism eraser that Tombow makes. You can often find these in art stores. It's a tiny little eraser that's very good for precision erasing. And I want to say that this is a 2.5 millimeter eraser. Can look up the precise details on that one, but that's where the zero comes from in Tombow Mono Graph Zero pencil. So what about the pencil itself? Like I said, this really surprised me, and surprised me in a good way. So what we have here is basically the same body, okay, made out of what feels like the same plastic. The Tombow Mono Graph Zero is thinner, and you can see right away that there's a key difference in that the grip on the Mono Graph Zero is different. This is a classic drafting knurled grip, and it's a really nice knurling. I mean, I'm pretty picky about knurlings. In that I prefer a sharper knurling on my mechanical pencils, and one of the big reasons why I do not like, for example, the Pentel Graph Gear is that the knurling just is not rough enough for my tastes. I really like it to be grippy with my fingers. An example of knurling that I like would be any of Rotring's main series of pencils. I really like the knurling. And I also really like the knurling on the Alvin Draftmatic pencils, very sharp knurling. Stettler has good knurling. There's lots of pencils that have decent rough knurling that I really like. And I shouldn't use the word decent because it's really up to the user. Of course, whatever you find good for your personal taste is what's best for you. There's no one right way to engage in any sort of hobby that you're in. And so keep that in mind. If you dislike the knurling on the Mono Graph Zero, that's your business. If you like the knurling on some pencils that I don't like, that's your business too. Whatever is going to be a good experience for you is what you should pursue. So I really like the knurling on the Tombow Mono Graph Zero. The extendable eraser on the Tombow Mono Graph Zero is this skinny eraser that is very similar to the click eraser. Now, these are the same diameter erasers. You can usually get refills for the, and it says here on the pencil, 2.3 millimeters, so I was close. Made in Japan, high quality product. Oh, and it also says it on the end of it. Ha ha ha. And so Tombow Mono Zero, you can usually find refills for this at an art store in which they sell them. Like Blick art stores sell these erasers and the refills for them. One of the downsides of this is that it's probably going to be a lot harder to replace the eraser on the Tombow Mono Graph Zero mechanical pencil, and so that's one of the cons, I would say, for this pencil. What about the pocket clip problem on the monograph? We have this flimsy pocket clip. Ugh, don't like it. They fixed it. Okay, this is one of the most solid pocket clips that I have ever encountered in my life. It's just really, really solid. And so it's not going it. Whoa. Oh, it had to snap into place. There we go. So it is indeed a solid pocket clip. Okay, it's not going anywhere, and it's going to hold on to it, really good, especially compared to that Tombow Mono Graph Shaker pencil. And so I feel really good about the Tombow Mono Graph Zero, and I'm happy to recommend it to people. So let's run down the rating scale on this. Oh, I guess another thing that I forgot to mention is that the mechanism of this Mono Graph Zero, also a brass clutch, feels a lot more solid to me than the mechanism of the monograph. And so if we listen to this one, more of a distinct click for the Mono Graph Zero. And if we do a click test on this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're looking at, probably about 5 millimeters, okay, which is a nice precision control for that eraser. Let's write with it. I went ahead and refilled my Tombow Mono Graph Zero with 2B Einstein lead, my favorite current lead. Can you tell I'm a Star Wars fan? What about writing experience for the Tombow Mono Graph Zero? It is a joy to write with. It's not amongst the top, but it's solid. I'm going to give it a good plus. Okay? What about features? Lots of features, jam-packed. The only reason why I'm not going to give this one a grade is because it's not pocket safe. Okay, that's the only reason why I'm not giving it a grade on features. It's a high quality pencil. Quality, really solid. The only reason why I'm not going to go grade on it is because we have some plastic parts in it, especially when you take it apart. Okay, these are all plastic parts inside where the eraser is held. You know, this is the stuff that if anything's going to break in your pencil, that's what's going to break. And you probably saw that when I was twisting this a lot, it was popping out, but it's still a very good pocket clip. And so I don't really feel confident giving it a great, but I can definitely go good plus on it. And then what about the cost? For all these features and this high quality on this great drafting pencil, surprisingly cheap. About $6.50 USD on Amazon US. It was shipped to me from Japan, okay? So it took quite a few weeks to get to me, okay? It was definitely worth the wait. And as always, I was, checking my mailbox, waiting for it. It, came well before what the maximum suggested time was for it. And so I felt good about that. So yeah, lots of pros to this pencil. That great knurling on the grip, the strong pocket clip, it's solidly constructed. It has a brass clutch that isn't going to wear down as easily. Far better overall mechanism than the Tombow Mono Graph, which, depending upon where you get the Tombow Mono Graph online, the Tombow Mono Graph is going to be about the same price as the Mono Graph Zero. And so by far the Mono Graph Zero, this pencil is a better buy in my eyes than the Mono Graph. Now, notice how the styling on these two is the same. Okay, same basic overall pattern on them. The big edge for the Mono Graph is that it comes in many different colors, like at least 15, 16 different colors for the Mono Graph. And so if you're looking to express yourself via the colors, that could be something that you would consider for the Mono Graph. I just wish that the Mono Graph Zero came in multiple different colors, and maybe over time we'll see that those would be released. Big con for the Mono Graph Zero would be that tiny eraser. It's probably going to be pretty expensive to replace it. You would probably have to order it online. It doesn't have a shaker mechanism. I actually prefer pencils not to have a shaker mechanism, but once again, personal preference on all this. And so Tombow Mono Graph Zero, great pencil. Hee hee hee. Thank you for being patient as I express my Star Wars hobby in combination with my mechanical pencil hobby. And so thanks for watching. This is the Tombow Mono Graph Zero. Oh, let's go ahead and rate it. So with a pencil rated this high, where should it end up? Should it go on my top 10 list? Ooh, it's really close, but I'm going to go with no. Okay, there's lots of great stuff on the top 10 list. I kind of feel like it beats out a lot of stuff that's on my honorable mentions list, so for sure it's going to go on my honorable mentions list, but my honorable mentions list has been so refined over the last couple of years and includes so many great pencils that I think that this is the pencil that is going to break my 10 rule on my honorable mentions list. And so this is going to be number 11 on my honorable mentions list. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a video on my honorable mentions list because I haven't mentioned those pencils in a long time on my channel. These are the pencils on my honorable mentions list that I don't quite feel confident putting in my top 10, but there's so many great mechanical pencils out there that I want to share with people that I sort of have this secondary category, the honorable mentions, in which I want to honor pencils that are high quality mechanical pencils that you can't really, that don't really fit in the top 10 in my eyes. And so Tombow Mono Graph Zero, definitely check it out. It's a really reasonable price on Amazon US. If you were looking for a really solid buy that is feature packed and high quality, I'm really impressed that Tombow went ahead and extended their monograph line to include this Mono Graph Zero. Thanks for watching. And coming up on the channel, something to look forward to in April, I am going to be visiting Tokyo Pen Shop. And while I'm there, I have a whole bunch of things planned. I plan to do a shop tour of their retail store in which I'll take a video of me walking around and pointing out all the products in their retail store. I'm hoping to be able to get an interview in with Kimberly and Frank, asking them about their Japanese stationery and pens and pencils uh, hobby that they have, which I don't know that hobby is the right word because they're the professional sellers on that, so my apologies if that isn't the right terminology for that. And I'm also going to try out a whole bunch of pencils in the store as well. Ones that are really difficult to try online, and then it'll make it a lot easier for me to make a judgment call, especially some pencils that people have been recommending here on the channel, like the Kuratoga Roulette and the Kuratoga High Grade. I get a lot of recommendations for those two pencils, but I feel like I really need to hold them in my hand in order to make a decision on them. And so I'm going to be doing that in April. So thanks so much for watching. I'm really for reals going to wrap up the video now. And there's a lot of things to look forward to on the channel. And so thanks for watching.